This is a list of characters from the shōnen-ai manga series Gravitation, written and illustrated by Maki Murakami. Main characters: Shuichi Shindo. Shuichi Shindo. Shindo Shuichi is the primary protagonist of the series. Shuichi's ambition at the start of the series was to follow in the footsteps of his idol, Ryuichi Sakuma, the lead singer of the band Little Grasper, by creating his own successful music band named Bad Luck. He has pink hair. One day when, as he is walking through a park reading his lyrics of the song, Glaring Dream, a sudden breeze blows them away, where they are picked up by a mysterious man who dismisses them as elementary level, saying that Shuichi has zero talent and should just give up. Stung by the man's criticism, Shuichi becomes determined to make him apologize. Shortly after, his friend Hiroshi Nakano helps him realize that he is attracted to the man in the park. Shuichi sees an interview on television that shows that the person in the park is in fact the famous romance novelist Eri Yuki. Initially, Yuki treats Shuichi coldly, but Shuichi perseveres through Yuki's icy demeanor and eventually the two begin a relationship. Shuichi's band also begins to rise in fame, and a major portion of the series focuses on his attempts to balance the demands of his job with his pursuit of Yuki's affections. Shuichi Shindo is voiced by Tomokazu Seiki in Japanese and Rich McNana in English. Both also voice the over Eri Yuki. Eri Yuki, Uki Eri, is a popular romance novelist who met Shuichi Shindo in the park and mercilessly dismissed his song lyrics. Through coincidence, they kept bumping into each other, and eventually came together romantically. In the series, manga and anime, Eri and Shuichi struggle with their celebrity status and their mercurial relationship. Eri's father is a monk who runs a temple in Kyoto. He has one younger brother, Tatsuha Yusugi, who is a monk in training. He also has one elder sister, Mika Yusugi, who is married to Tomasa Eguchi. At the beginning of the series, Eri is engaged to Ayuka Usami. In the Gravitation X first book, Eri is temporarily, according to himself, blinded. It is unknown whether or not his eyes will heal. He did it to save Riku Kitazawa, his deceased past mentor Yuki Kitazawa's orphaned child, from being run over by a semi-truck, which is unlike his original character. Later, Eri and Shuichi find that Yoshiki Kitazawa, Uki Kitazawa's trans sister, had dumped Riku off on them to parent, possibly just until she returns. It turns out in track 76 that Eri was faking his blindness, though the reason is unknown. Eri Yuki is voiced by Kazuhiko Inoue in Japanese and Rome Elliott in English. Both also voice the over Tomasa Eguchi. Tomasa Eguchi, Seguchi Toma, is the keyboard player in Little Grasper and Mika Seguchi's husband. He is the head of NG Recording Company and demands the best from all his contractual bands. Toma is very protective of Eri Yuki, and blames himself for the trauma Eri suffered as a teenager, seeing that he was the one who hired Yuki Kitazawa in the first place. He has declared Eri as his dearest. He is unfailingly polite to the point where he will refer to anybody, including his wife, as San, and appears to be a friendly and even-tempered person, if also a ruthless businessman. As the series goes on, it becomes evident that much of this is a carefully constructed mask. When Eri is involved, Toma has been known to be far from rational and soft-spoken. Toma is an anime adaptation of Daisuke Asakura, who wrote most of the music for the series. Maki Murakami has confirmed this at Otakon when she attended in a Q&A panel. This would make Ryuichi Sakuma an anime adaptation of Hiroyuki Takami, which would make Toma and Raiwichi an anime adaptation of Access, one of Murakami's favorite bands. Toma Seguchi is voiced by Iori Kasa in Japanese and Bill Rogers in English. Both also voice the OVA. Supporting characters: Hiroshi Nakano, Hiroshi, Hiro, Nakano. Nakano Hiroshi is like a big brother to Shuichi. He is Shuichi's best friend and the other original member of Bad Luck. Quiet and far more wise than the impetuous Shuichi, Hiroshi tries to serve as the voice of reason for Shuichi as he falls head over heels for Eri. Hiroshi himself is not immune to love. He eventually finds himself smitten with Eri, Yuki's supposed fiancée from Kyoto. At first, it doesn't seem as though it will go far because Ayuka still seems to have feelings for Yuki. However, over time she gets over Yuki and agrees to go steady with Hiro. Ayuka made a bet with Hiro, same with Yuki to Shuichi, that if they sold 1 million copies of one CD they debuted they would go on a date. Hiroshi also has an older brother, Yuji. The two of them were disowned by their parents for their chosen career choices. Hiroshi, the guitarist in a band, and Yuji, an actor. Yuji never ends up getting roles for his acting, but he keeps trying. Hiro also warned Yuki that he had better not make Shuichi cry over anything but Shuichi's own stupidity. Anything else. Hiro warns that he would teach Yuki a lesson on hurting a brother-like friend that means a lot like Shuichi. Shuichi always told everyone that bad luck isn't bad luck without Hiro. Hiroshi Nakano is voiced by Yasunori Matsumoto in Japanese and Daniel Kevin Harrison in English. Both also voice the OVA. Suguru Fujisaki. Suguru Fujisaki. Fujisaki Suguru is hired as Bad Luck's keyboard player, though he usually fakes being polite to others. Young Suguru is quite similar to his cousin, Toma Seguchi, despite his unfortunate proclivity for being controlled by others. While only 16 years old, he has incredible talent, and knows it. Suguru knows Eri Yuki's past as well, but it seems that Yuki also knows a bit about Suguru himself. He has commented before about Suguru hiding his real identity. He is quite short for his age, something Kei and Tatsuha constantly tease him about. In the manga, he is also known to make sexual advances towards Hiroshi. Suguru Fujisaki is voiced by Fujiko Takamoto in Japanese and Luke Novak in English. Both also voice the OVA. Raiwichi Sakuma. Raiwichi Sakuma. Sakuma Raiwichi is the lead singer of the popular band Little Grasper along with Toma Seguchi and Noriko Akai, and friend of Shuichi. He left the band 3 years ago to pursue a solo career in America but returned to Japan to reform Little Grasper. Shuichi is excited at the news of Little Grasper's reunion, but that now makes Raiwichi his rival. Raiwichi is kind and sometimes seems to have the mind of a 5-year-old. Until he starts singing. Then he becomes a really cool, mature, vocal god. Other characters have noticed that Raiwichi and Shuichi are quite similar in their childlike manner. His best friend is a pink bunny named Kumagoro, Mr. Bear in the English version, which is from Kei-san, his old manager. It contains a tracking device, and is from the Kei brand stuffed animal line. The author, Maki Murakami, supposedly named Raiwichi Sakuma after famous Japanese music composer and actor Raiwichi Sakamoto. Raiwichi Sakuma is voiced by Kappei Yamaguchi in Japanese and Kenneth Robert Marlowe in English. Both also voice the OVA. Noriko Akai. Noriko Akai. Akai Noriko used to be the keyboard player for Little Grasper, but joins Bad Luck for a bit on Toma's request. Once Little Grasper gets back together, though, she leaves for good. Noriko is rude, loud, and talented. She won't take junk from any of her band members, and demands the best out of them. Often she acts like an older sister to Ryuichi. Noriko Akai is voiced by Haruna Aikizawa in Japanese and Megan Hollingshead in English. For the OVA, Noriko Akai is voiced by Yuri Amano in Japanese and Zoe Fries in English. Claude K. Winchester. Claude K. Winchester, known simply as K, is Ryuichi's former manager and now the manager for Bad Luck. K is aggressive in promoting the band. His concern is first and foremost Bad Luck. But in his shaping of the band's career, he ends up involving himself in Eri and Shuichi's relationship. He is American, and in the original Japanese version, they played on the stereotype that Americans always have guns and will pull them out any time, any place. K often speaks English mixed in with his Japanese. Also in the manga it is shown that K has a family. He has a wife named Judy Winchester, and a son named Michael Winchester. K is voiced by Ryotaro Okiayu in Japanese and Brian Maylard in English. Both also voice the OVA. Mr. Sakano, a very stressed worker. Sakano, first name unknown, worships Toma and tries to be the perfect businessman for him no matter what. Sakano takes every opportunity, though he's not as conniving as K. Sakano has a tendency of panicking that often makes him seem like nothing but an overly nervous salaryman. Nevertheless, he takes Bad Luck seriously, and has even gone against Tuma in order to secure their success. Mr. Sakano is voiced by Takehito Koyasu in Japanese and Billy Regan in English. Both also voice the OVA. Mika Seguchi. Mika Seguchi. Seguchi Mika is Eri's older sister and Tuma's wife. She's beautiful, yet cold. She looks quite a bit like Eri except with longer hair and makeup. In Book 1, she wanted to make Eri see his dying father, bribing Shuichi with her own husband, Tuma. Later in the manga series we find out she and Tuma are going to have a child. Mika Seguchi is voiced by Hiromi Atsuru in Japanese and Angora Deb in English. Tatsuha Yusugi. Tatsuha Yusugi. Yusugi Tatsuha is Eri's brother, who has the same voice and characteristics as his older brother, but with black hair and eyes. Tatsuha is obsessed with Ryuichi and watches his Nittle Grasper video repetitively. He's quite the perverted and obsessive fan. Not to mention a 16-year-old monk. Tatsuha Yusugi is voiced by Hideo Ishikawa in Japanese and Jason Griffith in English. Both also voice the OVA. Ayuka Usami. Ayuka Usami. Usami Ayuka is betrothed to Eri and likes him very much, but wants what's best for him. So she lets Shuichi stay with Eri and tries to give up on him. Hiro has a crush on her and later they go on a date together. Ayuka Usami is voiced by Rita Naka in Japanese and Rachel Lillis in English. Reiji. Manga and drama CD only. Reiji originally works for the American record company XMR, of which her father is the president. She tries to get Shuichi to sign with XMR when he leaves Japan after Eri breaks up with him, further continuing the Americans with guns stereotype. Reiji is often seen with some sort of projectile weapon, which is more often than not a bazooka. Reiji's ultimate weapon, however, is her giant panda mecha, in reference to the fact that she wears glasses, a common insult to Meganeko. During his stay in New York, Reiji falls in love with Shuichi, but does not quite understand these feelings at first. She accepts that it can only be a one-sided affection, though that does not stop her from following him back to Japan and becomes Bad Luck's temporary manager while K is suspended. She continues to hang around after his return until Ryuichi decides he wants to return to the U.S. and be an actor. Reiji returns with him to be his new manager. Reiji is voiced by Miki Nagasawa.